Welcome back to CFP Nation. I'm your host, Nino Brown. I got my sidekick with me, Mr. D now, aka Mr. Get It Done. And when you see us on the screen, you already know what it means. It's Devy Dollins, my guy. Long time no see, huh? How we doing?
Yeah, I'm glad to be back.
That was an ass kicking last night.
It was. It was.
It-
What was it? Like 20 plus unanswered? And then Geo went like 2 hours without a completion. That was probably the most mind blowing for me.
yeah, that was what was crazy was like when Herb Street said, like, coming out of the half here, North Carolina really needs to stop. Barnes, 75-yard touchdown. Then he put the headphones on the dog, and that was the end of it.
Yeah, that was, you kind of knew where I was going after that.
Hopefully they can rebound next week. But let's talk about a kid that I think, maybe it's not the time is now, but I think that he might be the answer to the future. 6'3", 195 pounds coming into school. He's now listed at 215. That's, Tennessee quarterback Jake Merklinger, four-star kid. He was QB 11 in the 2024 class, top 40 overall out of Georgia, 160 overall, actually. He was top 40 kid in Georgia. He went to Calvary Day School, Savannah, Georgia. Three-sport athlete, right? Football, lacrosse, which is, a unique sport. We don't see many of those come across here. And basketball, this kid could get it done. I mean, we know that, McIntyre is also, an athlete at Tennessee. But, this kid put up almost 10 points a game, six rebounds, and almost 3 steals a game. He was a dude. 42-10 high school record, 3 straight regional titles. He was the 2022 Offensive Player of the Year, Savannah QB Club, 2021 Region 3A Offensive Player of the Year. He was the winner of the 43rd Michael, I don't even know how to say this, and I'm Italian, Finicciaroni Memorial Outstanding Football Player Award. And his brother, they play football. His brother is an offensive lineman over at Western Illinois. Dino, we spoke about this gentleman multiple times, in the group chat, and me and you also in the green room on other shows. She's kind of, especially when the whole whirlwind was going on. So we're both a fan of the kid. But talk to me about his performances coming on a Calvary Day, because this kid was a deal.
Yeah, 4-year starter. In 2020, he had 2,200 total yards. 23 total touchdowns, 15 in the air, 5 on the ground. 21, he completed 70% of his passes for 2,500 yards, 25 touchdowns. Then he added 300 on the ground, 11 touchdowns. In 22, his numbers kind of dropped. He had about 2,000 in the air, 32 touchdowns, only 2 picks. And then again, almost 300 on the ground with 4 touchdowns. And then his senior year, probably his best year, just a little over 3,000 yards through the air, 38 touchdowns, 2 picks, and then 450 rushing yards and 12 touchdowns. So solid contributor every single year with, looking at it, pretty smart football player, limited turnovers. So.
Yeah, I think he's got a great football IQ. We'll get into some of his attributes in a little bit, but yeah, I think he's got a great football IQ. And some of the quarterbacks we've seen just this weekend, he kind of gives me, he looks like a kid that could play like Sawyer Robinson or Josh Hoover. I mean, just has the legs, even like a Klubnik, right? Has the legs, can rip off, probably 400 to 600 yards on the ground if necessary. But he has the big arm and he makes a lot of the throws. We'll get into that. But this kid was highly recruited. Right, like he was a dude. We got almost 30 offers. Georgia, Vanderbilt, Arkansas, Florida, Maryland, Missouri. Obviously, Tennessee. He committed to my BC threw an offer out there. That's probably about as far as that went for BC. But he enrolled at Tennessee January 23rd, 2024. This kid, man. He's an athlete, like we talked about, right? He's got, that escapability. This is why I feel like, that Klubnik, that Hoover, where like just when you think you got him, he can make just a step roll out and rip off, 7, 8, 9 yards, get that first down. Absolute darts. So this kid throws downfield darts. He has a good release, right? And he can make those bucket throws. Like he's got touch. So it's not just I'm going to throw a cannon at you. No Joe Milton, all right, for another Tennessee ball. He's not a Joe Milton. He has, a howitzer, but he also can throw some touch to it as well. good command and cadence at line of scrimmage. Like this kid's ready to take over. He spreads the offense well, and I've seen it multiple times. I saw it in the spring games. Well, he can make them first and second level throws on a dime, dude. What are some of the things you saw, my man?
Yeah, like you said, the first, second level throws he can make super accurately, puts them where only his guys can get them. And then we kind of highlighted it going off his high school. His football IQ is probably above average for his age. With the good decision making again on top of that. He ran an RPO system in high school, so it just shows how athletic he is on top of that. And then he doesn't get tunnel vision either. He's constantly looking down the field, first, second, third read, finding who's ever open for him, which not a lot of quarterbacks his age do. They kind of get tunnel vision, like I said, first option or run sort of thing. So I like that he can progress down his reads.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying he's Joe Montana coming in, as a freshman, right? But what I saw on the high school film, what I saw in the spring game, he seems to kind of be like Aguilar's there, and we saw what Aguilar did week one. Obviously, he had some success there, which good for him. I was surprised that late arriving to Tennessee. I didn't know how well he was going to grasp the system because it's not the same thing as App State. But he took to it, and he had that one big play downfield. That was a money ball throw. So kudos to Aguilar. But he was in a battle with Merklinger. Like it wasn't like he got, as soon as Aguilar showed up, okay, I'm QB1. And I had mentioned to you guys in the group chat, Merklinger had a better completion percentage in the spring practices for a majority of the time, and then right down the stretch he kind of fizzled out, and Aguilar won the job. But this kid has it. I think was Aguilar now junior or a senior?
I think he's a senior now. Yeah.
So this is it for him. I'm pretty sure. So he's going to be the dude next year. With all things said, it's Joey Aguilar. Like we said, he came in. We saw what he did for week one. But this kid threw 3,800 yards last year, 33 touchdowns. Another kid that was mobile, almost 300 yards on the ground. But my concern was down the stretch in the Sun Belt. He kind of struggled, Aguilar. So I wasn't sure if he was going to just come in there and take control of that room. And the way that this kid can play, this kid has that football IQ and already wants to spread the ball, can't throw it downfield, but can take off if necessary. I thought he had it, especially when you got the young kid George McIntyre. He's a 4-star kid out of Brentwood Academy. He was QB 13, number 2 kid in Tennessee, but he's young. And they were battling. And when it was just Merklinger and McIntyre before, Aguilar had actually come on over and Nico had left, it looked like it was Merklinger's job to lose. Mm-hmm. So once Aguilar is going, I'm assuming that this is his job. Again, we get to this point of the show where it's a player comps. I looked down and I damn near had a heart attack when I looked at one of the guys that's on your list. But we'll get to that in a minute. I have 2 guys that one guy just doesn't want to leave, right? He just, people kind of wrote him off like a Geno Smith. They wrote him off, and he was like, yeah, well, guess what? I'm not ready to leave yet. Balled out, then they said, we don't want your services anymore, and went on to another team. I think he's going to ball out again. But he reminds me, Jake Merklinger reminds me a little bit of Sam Darnold out of USC, right? I know he was on a loaded team, but 65% completion for the career, 2,029 yards, almost 60 touchdowns. Like I said, not necessarily crazy mobile, but mobile enough, and it needed to be almost 350 yards. Rush had 7 touchdowns. It was a first-round pick, right? 3rd overall in 2018 NFL draft, went to the Jets. It's funny how I said Geno Smith, he was drafted to the Jets too, and they both kind of rotted over there and then had success otherwise. Another guy, I kind of liked him coming out of college. I thought he was, he was like the people's champion. Mr. Gold Jacket himself, Drew Lock out of Missouri. He gives me, some of those vibes as well. But at Missouri, this kid was an absolute dog. He was like baby Johnny Manziel, right? Like that's what he was to me. 57% completion for a career. Well, it wasn't the best, but he threw for 12,000 yards, almost had 100 touchdowns, 9 on the ground, almost 500 yards rushing. He went in the second round, 42nd overall to Denver. He never really, I think he had a couple starts in the NFL, and then he's kind of just been a journeyman backup. But when it's been plugged in, man, he brings that fire, that excitement. Again, still there. Looking at now 6 years in the NFL. I think it's 3 teams he's been through.
Mhm.
This is his 3rd team through Lock. But I mean, if that's ceiling and floor, I'll take it. I think Sam McDonald's going to ball out in Seattle again, and I think there's a good chance that he might get 1 or 2 years before Jalen Milroe kind of takes over at the quarterback position. But hey, he should still be in Minnesota. He should still be that guy in Minnesota. But that's a conversation for another day. But I think Jake Merklinger reminds me a lot of Sammy Donald coming out of USC. Right? He has that big arm, can't shake off defenders and grab them yards. Great in them short and intermediate throws. Has no problem putting that ball right over that linebacker's hands, right into that guy across the field. So, hey, I'll take Sam Donald to the next level. And I'll also take a guy that's still in the NFL, right? And just when his number is called, he can step in there and fire away. So what are your thoughts on my guys? And give me yours.
I love them. I mean, 2 of my 3 comps I would say are pretty comparable to your 2 comps. So I like the Sam Darnold. And I'll agree 100% with you, what you said about him being at Minnesota. My comps, I went Matt Barkley out of USC, so I thought that was pretty much almost ditto what you said about
Yeah, yes.
My second one, I'm going to skip the one that I think you're going to have a heart attack over for right now.
Thank you.
I'm going Will Grier.
I love this one.
I think he was an energy guy, especially when he was with West Virginia. His senior year, he had all the hype in the world. I know back then I had him as one of my Heisman guys. Kind of fizzled out a little bit though.
Yeah.
Injuries played a part in that. But again, he's almost a mirror image of like what you said with Drew Lock.
Yes.
Just before Drew Lock.
A little bit bigger, right? Just a little bit bigger.
A little bit bigger.
But same style.
Yeah. And then this is sort of like if everything clicks for him. So just hold on there. I got Trevor Lawrence. I mean, he's a tall guy. I think he's pretty similar stature-wise of what our guy is right now. Super athletic, has that escapability, can throw it on multiple angles. Mm-hmm. Yes, I know it hasn't all clicked in Jacksonville for him, but if we go back to solely Clemson tape for him right here, I think this would be the ceiling that I have for our guy Merklinger. I feel his game is almost mirror what they tried to do with Trevor Lawrence at Clemson.
Now, I don't think Trevor Lawrence was generational. I think we throw that word
I don't
around.
either, no.
I think he was an amazing college quarterback. Okay. But I don't know if what I see at the
fact
NFL.
That people were throwing up there, him and Andrew Luck, like it was the race of who was the better general. No, I wasn't all about that.
I'm going to go with Trevor Lawrence had a lot better weapons than my guy Andrew Luck did. So let's start there. But I see what you're saying. I don't know if he'll ever hit that plateau of what Trevor Lawrence did those two years at Clemson, due to the fact that I don't know if he'll be surrounded with the same talent. It was kind of like a match made in heaven for Trevor Lawrence.
It was
when he was at Clemson. You mentioned Will Grier. I love Will Grier. I love that comp. I love Matt Barkley as well. At the next level, Matt Barkley was kind of like a Drew Lock. He just journeyman, couple years here, and then he was out. But when you say Will Grier, another guy I thought of, he wasn't as big, but his game, when he had a big arm, he was Blake Bortles, bro. Blake Bortles when he for the Jaguars. I remember he almost gave me a heart attack against the Patriots when he's bumbling and rumbling down the sideline, and I don't know if the referees might have gave us a call or two to keep that one, but he has that style to him. He's not as big as Blake, right?
Right.
Blake had probably another 25 pounds on him.
Easily.
Merklinger does. But again, we're talking about going on 4 years before you figure out how much you can put on and still be successful. So the style, the big arm, can run. I think Merklinger will get down a lot quicker than Blake Bortles did. But yeah, Will Grier was a perfect one. That Drew Lock somewhere in that picture. I think if that's the floor, cool. Going to the penthouse is Trevor Lawrence. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Sam Darnold, right around there. That I think that would be the ceiling for Merklinger. But we'll have to wait and see. If for some reason there's an injury or, we saw it already. He fizzled out. There was just not a better option at App State. Like, he was still a winnable option for them, even though he wasn't clicking on all cylinders down the stretch. But now it's the SEC, and every game, every quarter, everything matters more than it does the Sun Belt. In my eyes, I think in most of college football's eyes. So if he's
we'll see him. We'll see him this year.
We'll see him in blowout games, obviously. Well, he'll get the garbage time, but I think
he'll start a couple games this year. I truly believe it.
I love it. I love to see it because I think this kid has that moxie in him. Like, some of the throws he can make, man. I know every quarterback makes them throws sometimes, but some of them I'm just like, gosh darn it, this kid should be QB1 for the Vols right now.
Oh yeah.
All right, Dino, we're gonna be talking about next week. I can't say his name. I just know Kuman from Florida State, right? Big boy running back. We're going to talk about him. He was on display. He had that one run against Alabama, and I was just like, yeah, that right there is why I wanted to talk about this kid, because I knew he was going to. They have a pretty good room, too.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's a good chance. He's already named RB2 for this week. Yeah, just RB2 is him. So it'll be interesting to see. Maybe we'll be talking a lot more about him next week.
Oh, yeah.
But for now, Jake Merklinger, is he the future for Tennessee Vols and this Devy Dollins episode? I'm Nino Brown. That's my co-host, Dino. This is the CFB Nation, and we